year of the official Tay opening on January 15th. I didn't realise it was the 73rd year this has happened, but I can remember many years ago when I first came up, and I think that must have been the 43rd year, when I came up from Peterborough to cover the event. And again, there was a lot of people here. There were probably 400 people here, all working through the procession, and it was a huge event. I remember being here. It was quite astonishing to see everybody. Everybody should turn out on a wintry day just to get out on the river and go salmon fishing. I remember that day in particular because by lunchtime there was a huge fish on the Kenmore Hotel slab there, a 22-pound fish, a beautiful stocky silver fish, which impressed me greatly. And I also remember a stocky guy with a red face and a huge glass of whiskey toasting the fish, because he was the boatman. He was there in his oilskins, and he was a very happy man. And that will all happen by lunchtime. And I then realised that the guy with the whiskey was a well-known character around here, a guy called Geordie Gartshaw, the legend of Loch Tay. And it so happened that 3 or 4 years later, fate would have it that I was actually living next door to a legend, Geordie Gartshaw, just down the road there. And I was involved now in publishing my magazine, Fly Fishing and Fly Time, from just down the road in a bedroom in a house down there. And Geordie and I used to swap a lot of stories about salmon fishing, and he knew the Tay backwards. He was a really good fisherman, and he had a lot of stories to tell me. But the thing is, the reason I allude to it is the fact that things have changed on the Tay since those days. And of course, spring fish now, we put them all back, and that's the law. We've had to do that because the numbers are so low. But we still come out and fish them. Here we all are having another go at getting them out. But we put those fish back, and in recent now, just over the winter, the Tay board's advising that we now put all our salmon back. So this is a change in the policy that where now they want us to put every fish back. So it's legal up until April the 1st, but after that they want us to try and put every fish back. And it's important that we do that as anglers, because we need those fish to spawn. We're running very low on stocks. And this isn't just happening on the Tay, it's happening all over Scotland. Our salmon, Scotland's salmon, are in crisis, and we have to do something about that and bring those numbers back. And anglers are the first people that have to make the commitment to put the fish back. There's a lot of problems with salmon, and one of the biggest ones that we have identified is the smolts, the small smolts that are all in the tributaries that go down into the run down the river and then into the sea. Over time, in a number of years ago, when George was catching those fish, 20, if 100 of those smolts went down the river, 20 of those would come back as adult fish. What's happening now is that maybe only 3 or 4 of those fish are coming back as adults. And that's why we've got to protect those adults so they continue to spawn. I think that we're getting to the point now where the fish, the salmon, this beautiful, strong, silver, iconic fish of Scotland, we need the whole of Scotland, the anglers, the government, everybody to pull together to bring this fish back. We want this. We can see around here, the hotel, the shop, everybody around here, the B&Bs, the accommodation we've got here. everybody's here because of the salmon. We need this salmon to keep coming back. And I think when I travel around, I know that everybody wants to come to Scotland to catch a salmon. That's where salmon fishing started. All the salmon history is based in Scotland. This is where people want to come and fish. We need to maintain that fish. But I think it's difficult to actually talk about the demise of salmon when we're all here to celebrate the new season. And there is some good news. The fact that the river is certainly big, and that means the salmon will be coming up. It's actually huge at the moment. In fact, I've been told that we can't get the boat out to do the first cast because the river's so high. I'm also warning you that if you go down the river, don't park on the grass, because the grass is so wet that you might sink in and might not be able to get back out again. But the good news is that I'm going back to Geordie Gartshaw, who told me a story about when the river was big. And he told me that one Saturday, many years ago, he bought a Saturday ticket for a beat further downstream in the mid Tay, and he drove down in the early morning. And when he got there, when it was light, he found that the river was huge and it was filthy. It was dirty brown, and all the other anglers had turned up, and the gilly said to the anglers, "Well, you might as well go home. You're wasting your time." So they all went home, and the gilly went home. George thought, "Well, I'm not going home. I paid for my ticket." And George was not only known as a good angler, he was well known for his stubbornness. And so he fished, and he found himself a point to fish on, and by lunchtime he landed 5 springers, 5 huge springers. And he told me that story, and I always remember it. And whenever conditions are like this, with a big river, a huge river with a lot of sediment in it, I always think about that story and think, well, you know what? We're all eternal optimists, and salmon fishermen, I can look around here and I can see all the rods set up. We are optimists, we have to be. But, you know, it's strange. We can fish all these times, and we might fish for days and not get a fish. But we know, every cast, that could be the one. The right fly, right time, right place. It could be you, as the lottery says, that wins the salmon. And if you get a fish like that, like this one, and today if you catch a fish it may well look like this one, then it's going to be all worth it. And if you do catch a salmon, then just like George, one thing hasn't changed. You can always celebrate it in the bar with a glass of whiskey. We can keep doing that, that's for sure. Thanks very much. Good luck out on the river today, and I hope you have a great 2020 season. Thank you.